So you booked a meeting, congrats. But how do you make sure the call goes well and the client is sold by the end of it? This is the video for you. Stick around. But before we jump into it, make sure you subscribe down below and smash that like button for more content like this. Who am I? I'm Alex Berman. I'm the author of Cold Email Manifesto. We've generated over $100 million in leads for our clients, and I want to help you do the same. So today I want to go through the discovery call and go over what it actually looks like and how you can increase your close rate. Let's start with the definition. What is a discovery call? It's the call where you're diagnosing the problem. An agency sales process looks like this. You send a cold email to someone that you've never met. You book a meeting. On that meeting, which is called a discovery call, you ask a bunch of questions. And if they don't close right away, then you move from the discovery call process to the proposal process and maybe even a contract negotiation call if the corporation is a little bigger. I got into sales because I knew that it's the lifeblood of the company. Nobody does anything until somebody makes a sale. That's the standard thing that people say sometimes. If your company doesn't make sales, it's not really a company, it's a hobby. So the sales team has the most power in the organization. And if I wanted to be an entrepreneur, if I wanted to be someone that grew companies, then I needed to understand the sales process. Even though my passion is more on the marketing side, I am not a good marketer unless I'm generating money for our clients. I'm not one of these people that's going to hit you with like, oh, I generated 100 MQLs this week. How many did you close? I'm not going to hit you with that. I am driving all the way to revenue, whether that requires managing the sales team, giving them notes on the process, or just making the sales digitally without bringing a sales team in. As a marketer, I am a driver of the sales number, and sales teams are also drivers of the sales number. So that's why I love sales. I was a junior sales guy in New York City for a while. I sold over $1 million in software projects in a year. Actually became the #1 salesperson at the agency I was at within a year and got promoted up to director of marketing. It was a 50, 60 person company. Now they're over 100 employees, Inc. 5,000 multiple times, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever. I know how to do this. I love sales. And in order to get better at sales, you need to stop selling according to a script, and you need to start selling like a doctor diagnosing a patient. We've all seen Wolf of Wall Street where they're on the phone going through this hardcore script to get people to close. Now, they're doing a very specific type of sales. They're doing hard close, call #1 sales, where you cold call people and then you have to give your exact reasons and then you pressure them to close by the end of the call. So let's go into the discovery call structure. Part 1 is building rapport. This lasts about 2 to 5 minutes. This is the typical small talk and rapport building. You can ask them about their city, ask them about their wife. If you're married, ask them about their kids. If you have kids too, then you can always talk about that kind of stuff. It's good to talk about the area they're located in, a specific piece of content, if they've written any blog content, something that's lighter and not directly tied to the business itself. The goal of this section is to build trust and credibility, to show that you're human and interested, and you're not just a robot that's reading a sales script. Once that's done, we move into part 2, the sales script. So tell me a bit about company. How did you get to where you are today? Where do you want to go next? And how are you envisioning us supporting you on the marketing and sales front? These are the kind of questions that you ask in part 2. Depending on how they answer those, there may be a few follow-up questions about things they left out or things they might have left unclear that you can handle point by point by point, like a doctor diagnosing a patient. He's going to want all of that information before he can make his diagnosis. So you as a salesperson, the same way, need all of the information before you can make a diagnosis, that diagnosis being the offer that you're selling. They also might answer some of our later questions during this section of the call. In that case, we can skip the question or just reiterate what they said and confirm that's the case. Use your judgment to determine what's best. Just because you have a question on your sheet that you have to answer doesn't mean you have to ask it exactly the way that it's written. You can just infer the answer, or you can ask it a slightly different way or in a slightly different spot, whatever you want to do. Here are some questions that you want to tackle in part 2. What's already working to drive new business? What's your average deal size? What determines a good fit, qualified lead for your agency? Do you have a specific target vertical or company size? These are for agency lead gen, but you can customize for whatever you're doing. The goal is to learn everything we need to know about their company so that we can understand, 1, where we can help them, 2, who their ideal clients and or customers are, 3, what channels might be practical, what marketing channels we're going to sell them on, 4, what their biggest pain points are, and then 5, roughly what their budget might be Are they in the same ballpark? Are they expecting a $500 marketing service or a $500,000 marketing service or somewhere in between? What is their budget? What are we going to find out here? We're going to ask more specific budget questions as well, but if you can infer it here, even better. Then we get to part 3 of the discovery call, which is telling them more about us. This is another 5 to 10 minute section. And the way that we transition into that is we say, fantastic. I definitely think there's an opportunity for us to work together to help you grow company name. Why don't we do this? I can give you a broad overview of everything we offer, then we can circle back around to get into the details of any part you're especially interested in. Sound good? Then you wait for their yes. The chances of getting a no here are very low, but if you do, ask more leading questions to find out which channels you should tell them more about. Are they more interested in SEO or Facebook ads or cold email as a service? What are they interested in and what should you tell them more about? And more than what they're interested in, what do they actually need as a company? The goal here is to help them understand what we offer with a few notes on how we're different. Then part 4 starts with you saying, any questions so far? And in the vast majority of cases, they will have questions here. So dive into the specifics of whatever they're interested in and try to answer to the best of your ability. The way that we answer stuff is not via just telling people what to do, but we tell it through case studies. So for instance, if they have a question about SEO, we'll talk about the results we had with an SEO client, how they were struggling before and what they do now. If they ask about web design, we'll talk about another web design client that was similar to them and how improving their website helped them. So all of the answers that you give, build up your expertise at the same time as answering their question. Then I would say, essentially, if it has to do with driving revenue for B2B companies, we're probably involved in some way. I'm happy to dive deeper into any of the ones you're interested in. And that brings you to part 5, which is the close/securing the next commitment. And the way that you transition into that is you say, so after we jump off here, I'll send you over some materials so you can take a look at our services in greater detail. You can feel free to share those internally. It would also be great to go ahead and add our next call booked for later this week. Would you happen to be available between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. on Tuesday? And if they say yes, then you send the calendar invite within a few minutes and you're good to go. The goal of this section is to secure the next meeting, and that's important. By the end of this discovery call, you really want budget, authority, need, and timing. They call it BANT. So you want to know that they have the budget for your service, they have the authority to make the decision, they have a need for your service, and they want to make a decision right now. I tend to set these next meetings for as soon after the first meeting as possible, ideally within 3 business days, if not the next day, or even later that day if you don't need that much time to put a proposal together. The faster you can get them through the process, the faster you guys can start working together and you can start delivering great results for their business. So it's very aligned for both people to make this happen. And if you want our bulletproof discovery call script that you can use for free, then go on over to email10k.com/discovery and you can get it right then. If you want to learn more about lead generation and have me help you out weekly, join a community of hustlers on live calls, then go to email10k.com and join the private community. It also comes with access to all of our courses on how to grow a business, so you can check that out right now at email10k.com. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to smash that like button to encourage this type of content on YouTube. Subscribe for more videos like this, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching. I'm Alex Berman.